Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Headliner Podcast. We're your hosts, Nicholas and Alyssa, and we're here to keep you in on the loop on all things you can do to promote your podcast. So, Alyssa, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, Nicholas, it's November. So I think we should, just start looking ahead to next year and think about ways to market your podcast next year in 2025.
Okay, that sounds fun. So, how do you do that? Pretend I'm a complete novice to podcasting and just, what do I do? What is podcast?
What is podcast? Now that's a question.
Yeah.
There's a myriad of things you can do to help market and grow your podcast. I won't say that there's a perfect plan for everybody, just like how your show's different, kind of your ultimate path is going to be a little bit different as well.
Mm-hmm.
Here at Headliner, and there's a lot of other tools out there that can help you do this. But one of the easiest and fastest ways is going to get on social media and to start creating those lovely podcast scripts, whether they are going to be audiograms or if you're going to get in front of the camera like we are now and create video clips. That's going to be kind of one of the best ways to quickly get your podcast out there and start getting it in front of listeners that are already out on the web. Right now, there's a lot of encouraging data too, kind of pointing to the impact that social media has had on podcasting. So, for example, right now we're seeing over 71% of podcast listeners have actually discovered a show in the past year just by scrolling on social media.
Interesting. And I guess that kind of makes sense because TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, they all have these super advanced algorithms that are literally parsing what's said in clips and sending them to people who are likely to enjoy them. So that makes sense. Most of my podcasts I'm into have been discovered just absent-mindedly scrolling TikTok when I should be sleeping. And so getting your podcast out on social media, awesome. Where else can we get our podcasts out that'll just help them grow, hopefully?
Yeah, so YouTube, that's still very much going to be a great place for podcast discovery.
Sure.
This year in 2024, YouTube's still ranked number one for that podcast discovery and kind of listening platform. Mm-hmm. So that was, of course, trailed behind Spotify and Apple. So obviously, just creating a podcast is great for podcast discovery, go figure. But getting it out on YouTube is going to really help you get in front of a larger audience and a larger pool of potential listeners. And there's also getting on YouTube. You don't, once again, have to get in front of camera. You think of YouTube as kind of being a place that you upload and you watch videos, right? But
sure.
YouTube, they have their own ingestion, so you can set it up on a couple of different hosts, and they offer kind of automatic RSS ingestion. So it's going to help you get on YouTube Music. So, that's going to be their mobile listening app. Take it a step further, get in front of even larger potential audience, just getting on YouTube, period. So the youtube.com. So just really either creating those audiograms or like we're doing right now, we're just sitting in a Zoom call. There's a lot of different ways that you can create kind of video to get up on YouTube as well and start to leverage that audience.
Sure. And I'm sure it's almost like a no-brainer that you want to be on YouTube because it is the website. People, as weird as it is to say, nobody Googles stuff anymore for answers. They YouTube it. Like the other day, I literally was struggling to fix something on my TV. And instead of Googling it, I just opened the YouTube app on my TV and was like, hey, how do I fix this?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
I hate to be that person. I want to be the one who can fix it myself. But I'm like, no, I'm out of my depths here. Just TV, fix self onto the YouTube search bar or whatever. But okay, cool. And we're talking about getting full episodes onto YouTube at this point. You were talking about they have RSS ingestion now. But more than that, I feel like YouTube Shorts is a huge avenue for people. They're now supporting longer videos there, if I'm not mistaken. They're doing what is it, up to 3 minutes?
Yeah, it's 3 minutes as of a week ago, I think.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy. I got to rethink my YouTube marketing strategy, clearly. But I'm sure podcast clips on YouTube Shorts, the same exact way you would post on TikTok, Instagram Reels, that's got to be a huge thing now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of data showing that especially Gen Z is trending towards getting on social media and YouTube and going directly to the short form content platform. So thinking about TikTok or YouTube Shorts, people are typing in those how to fix TV questions in those algorithms right then and there. So
sure.
Obviously, if you're trying to target younger audiences, YouTube Shorts, super powerful platform for that. Just kind of zooming out a little bit and just thinking more macro about clips, that is going to just be a really easy win for a lot of podcasters, professional marketers. We see 95% of marketers in a lot of different polls and studies have really said that they're investing a lot more in creating that short form content and getting up on social media and YouTube Shorts. And then also kind of looking at the data of how well those posts are performing. You're seeing typically at least a 10x engagement when compared to their static and text-based counterpoints. That's going to be like uploading a picture or sending out a tweet or something, or whatever, an X. I don't know what that actually is called anymore, but you know what I mean.
Blue Sky, right? Yeah.
A thread, yeah.
But no, that totally makes sense to me. I mean, look, I'm an avid reader. I'm a data nerd. I get it. I like a nice infographic. But if you realistically want to reach your audience, just do it as a video. You can still have your super pretty graph there. And I specifically will comment on it saying, thank you for the super pretty graph there. But just having a quick video where you're like, hey, we're talking about X, Y, and Z. This is what's going on. Here's the stat, 10 times faster than reading it. And you still can have like great retention on that through something we'll talk about in a second, I'm sure, transcription. It just makes more sense. And especially because you're a podcaster, you've already spoken about this. Why are you going to take the time to make that infographic or talk about something in text at length when you can just splice that clip and run it? To be that guy, the analogy I used to say when I'd like explain what an audiogram is to like friends and family, because they'd be like, what do you do? And I'd be like, oh boy. So this is what I do. Well, the way I'd explain it to them is all of us have like a background in music. And I'd say the podcast is an album. It's 9 songs. It's 45 minutes. The audiogram is the single. It is a part of that album that's much shorter and to the point. So that makes sense to me. Just post your clips on social media. Sure.
Yeah. And then taking it even a step further, you have your clips, right? You're making it. Another thing that you can really do to enhance those clips and really, really kind of boost that engagement discovery is going to be to caption them and to also thinking, so we've got clips, adding captions, and then also thinking more long form, actually transcribing your content. So thinking if you do have those clips, I think it's TikTok, they do allow for you to upload your own transcription files. That's not true for all social media platforms, but the ones that do allow it, definitely transcribing those clips. Or if you're using like a transcript-based editor, you have that transcript, right? You can just download it really quickly from there. But anyways, so adding a transcript and captioning those videos, whatever length they are, that's actually going to, once again, kind of increase that retention and that engagement. So it's actually proven that 92% of people that are watching on their phones are actually going to finish a video all the way through if it has captions on it. So
wow.
There's a lot of reasons for that. One, they're engaging, they're a lot prettier. So especially if you see animated captions, a lot of times you see words like jumping out on the screen at you. So that naturally is going to grab your eye. But also a lot of people just are listening to videos without sound. So they're scrolling on TikTok without sound. Maybe in places and times they shouldn't be, but regardless, having the captions is going to allow them. Name
examples, please.
I've never done it in a meeting. I've never done that.
Not once. I have.
No.
I can be real.
Well, good for you for being honest.
Thank you.
But yeah, so people, they're just passively scrolling. It is, an established behavior at this point. So by adding those captions, you're going to kind of set your clips or your long form videos up for success in the long run as well.
Sure.
And then adding a transcription, that's also going to give you a lot of added discovery benefits. So thinking about SEO, especially algorithms like YouTube, or even if you're just actually going to Google and you're Googling something, right? Those algorithms and bots, they cannot crawl audio files or video files actually. So they start to look at the metadata that's attached to it. So if you have a transcript attached to that file, now they have this 45-minute of spoken word that's written down. So now I can start to say, oh, we're looking for those keywords. Okay, this person said podcast 127 times. Maybe if somebody's Googling podcast marketing or something like that, we're going to start pushing this content a little bit more to it. So just by adding those transcripts, you're adding a very powerful piece of metadata that can really kind of help and especially in the long term, really help kind of boost that SEO and discoverability.
That makes sense to me. I mean, I used to, before I joined Headliner, I was a freelance video editor. I worked with like YouTube channels and stuff like that. And I always kind of overheard people talking about like the meta you want to put in if you're making a video essay or a vlog or something is if it's scripted in any way, go on YouTube and paste the entire script into their subtitle editor because it's just going to index it. And yeah, I mean, that doesn't shock me at all. TikTok, they even have like automatic transcription to help index stuff. But if you can get that better transcript with more accuracy in it, even better. And if you can burn the transcript into the video like we offer on Headliner itself, that's like the best thing you can do because you're going to encourage people to sight read, which is just engagement editing 101. That's like, what's his name? Mr. Beast editing, where he puts like the words on the screen all the time. And it's like, okay, it's there. You're reading it. You're actually getting more like information out of it. You're more likely to retain that information. So you're actually helping the viewer too. You're giving them just more bang for their buck, and you're actually kind of respecting their time a little bit because they won't have to rewatch the video to remember the stat now.
Exactly. And then we're also seeing with that, there's thinking about Gen Z, I'm Gen Z, so I'm a little biased, but we love our captions. We love those bad boys turned on. So it can even cater to kind of your user preferences. So if you are looking at younger audiences or just people of the hearing impaired community, English as a second language or whatever the non-native speaker would be in that case, just adding the captions really does, help them to actually want to watch your video because that is typically a preference of them. So whether it's just their actual bias of wanting to have them or, hey, having them really does help them to kind of enjoy your video a lot better, that's going to also kind of help with that retention just because they're like, oh, I like this and the creator did this for me. That kind of helps to create that connection right then and there as well.
It sounds like a lot of those like little production flourishes you can throw in go a long way and just bolstering whatever it is you bring to the table, I guess. So on that track, we were talking about how easy it is to get a video podcast made these days. It's just a Zoom call away, basically. Do you have anything you can say to like listeners or podcasters about production quality? Like, are they, I guess like what I'm trying to say is, should they be concerned if they are just going with like a Zoom call on YouTube, Yeah.
I mean, personally, I wouldn't be, but also we know I love data. So of course I have a data point for this.
Oh, perfect.
84% of people say that they care more about the quality of the story and the content over the production quality. So we're really looking at the idea in podcasting, you're telling a story. So we're seeing that people do have a preference for a good story over a really nice looking video. So there's no need to go out and invest in lighting or really nice video cameras or amazing video editing softwares. If you have a good story, that's going to win out every time for a listener.
Gotcha. I feel very like called out by that sentence, by the way. As a video
you make
person.
Beautiful videos. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Like, look, speaking as a videophile, as a person who's like, I'm that guy who will like complain about a movie if they remove the film grain from it. Okay. But speaking as that guy that everyone hates, like, you're totally right. When I'm listening to a podcast, I really don't care what microphone was used to record it. I don't care if it was using the Mac, the MacBook webcam or anything like that. I'm there to be informed about something. So all that matters to me is the information, the story being told, and the way it's being told to me. If it's being told in an engaging, easy to parse way. Everything else after that is a bonus. But, like you kind of said, like a good story is what matters. So.
And good things. We're podcasters, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what makes podcasting awesome is the fact that anyone can do it. So the fact that 84% of people like don't care about production quality is amazing. And it absolutely should be something you keep in mind when you're making something.
Yeah. And, kind of thinking even more about that, like the whole realm wasn't built in a day. So you have your content, you're making your content. You might not see a viral clip right off the bat. And so with that, it just is really important to just be patient and stay consistent. So once you are starting to do these things or some of these things, whatever you decide to do, if you're marketing of your podcast this year or next year, whenever you start this whole journey. Just really thinking about being patient and consistent with it. So if you're releasing on a weekly cadence, maybe send out a social media post or a tweet or share a video or something with that same cadence. So it's really going to kind of help people either the day that your show drops, be like, oh, cool, there's the show, or they're, a month from now, they're like, oh, wait a minute, they're scrolling and they see your clip or something on TikTok. And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I do like this podcast. I should go listen to this. So you won't always see a direct correlation with all of this marketing effort and all this stuff, but down the line, it really does help. And it is proven to help grow that show over time.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. And that kind of lines up with what I know about social media, which is you're kind of supposed to post very often. That's like what they always say, right? I think it's like 3 posts a week, if not more. And that's fine. If you can hit that goal, by all means. But more importantly, it is what you're saying. Just be consistent. If you can only manage to do 1 huge post a week, do that. Put a clip in there, flesh it out with some context in the description. That's like something in the social media meta I've been noticing where I don't know if you've seen it, but people will post something and it's like a 10-second podcast clip and it's very short. And then there will be a call to action, like read the description for all of the additional information. And that's like one thing people will do. It gets you to engage with the post for a long time. You're still giving value to your listener and you're encouraging them to, if they don't want to read this, just listen to the full podcast.
Exactly. And then even thinking about SEO, so I have to say a lot of the search algorithms too, especially if you're thinking about LinkedIn, those typically rank really well for if you have a very text heavy post.
Yeah.
So if you have the video component, great, you're getting people in the door a lot easier, especially LinkedIn just rolled out this new update where they now have kind of like a Reels experience in LinkedIn, which wild. So if you're a business podcast, hey, great idea for you. But anyways, having a longer description in that social media caption, like you're saying, it's more intentional. So you've got your clip and you're giving all this information so your listeners can very easily figure out what's going on here or how to engage with you further. But then you're also in the macro of the whole search environment, you're once again loading it down with all those keywords and even more context. So now you're giving that video file that, hey, probably can't crawl, but hey, you've given all of this text in this description that it can crawl and it can better index to help people see it if they're searching for something in a more organic manner.
My only addition to that is I really hope they ended up calling the Instagram Reels on LinkedIn Reeled In, but they almost certainly didn't. That would have been a great name. I'm just saying.
Wow, you are a marketer of the public list.
Yeah. No, I think I'm just like a bad pun machine or something.
I think that's a prerequisite to working at Headliners.
Yeah, valid. Okay, great. Well, Alyssa, do you have any other like things you want to share with our listeners about just marketing a podcast, getting out there?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, there's really no one size fits all approach to it. You can get on social media, you can get on YouTube, you can create clips, you can transcribe all of your content, be really intentional and make super long, engaging, relevant social media captions, but you don't have to do all of that. You can just pick one of those things and just do it and be consistent with it. And once you say, hey, I'm going to do it, really commit to it, and you'll start to kind of see the effects and the growth over time with that. So it doesn't have to be this so overwhelming thing. I know it seems like a lot. I'm a marketer and a lot of times I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot whenever something happens. But, your audience is where your audience is. So if you are really catering to them and being intentional about getting in front of them in new and different ways, or singular, then that's honestly great for your show.
All right. So thank you so much for telling us all about this, getting your podcast out there, how social media kind of works stuff, Alyssa. It was a really great conversation. I can't wait to have another one in the future for our listeners. And, one thing I do want to end on is I know our listeners probably clicked on this expecting some kind of an ad or a pitch about Headliner because it's our company and it's what we do. And, I guess I just don't want to leave them empty handed. If you could just please do the very non-transparent ad for us.
Sponsored, of course.
Yeah, sponsored by Headliner, of course.
Yeah. So if you haven't been in Headliner in a while, definitely check it out. Go to make.headliner.app. It looks a little bit different. So if you've been in there before, you've definitely seen the manual audiograms, automatic audiograms, pink transcribe button that'll direct you over to edit, and the advanced editor. But now with Headliner, you can caption and create video clips. So just like you can with audiograms, you can now kind of batch create content using video uploads. So whether you have a Zoom recording like we do, or you have some old YouTube videos that you're like, hey, I would love to get some clips from this, you can totally do that. Just go into Headliner, click on that clip and caption button, and then Headliner will start walking you through a really easy process that will help you to not only create clips, but also style them. And of course, add in those super lovely, engaging captions that we talked about earlier.
All right. Awesome. Thank you for that. That was very transparent and ad-like. But no, in all seriousness, this is like what we do. Like you just said, it's very cool stuff. Even like our ability to take YouTube videos, I'm like so tickled by that. And I really want to play with it as a person who makes stuff in his free time and is usually the worst about remembering to pull clips. So like speaking as a Headliner user, but also as a person that makes stuff, this is so cool. And I can't wait to play with it.
Please do.
Yes,
great.
I will.
I think so.
This isn't a part of the ad. I'm being transparent about that. Like,
Nicholas works slightly in a different part of the company. So
yeah, exactly. Anyway, thank you for that. And thanks to everyone for listening. We'll catch you on the very next episode.